To create a one-stop place for subtotal data aggregation such as sum, average, count, min, max, etc., start with reference cells to the function codes. Thanks Ben Collins. In this example, we'll place the 11 functions we want to use in column G. This is the list of 11 functions you'll place in your reference cells: average, count, counta, max, min, product, standard deviation, population, sum, variance, population. After placing that list of functions in column G, we'll assign each a code in column H. I have already set up one drop-down cell to show a preview of where this tutorial is taking you. To preview what comes next, click in cell E2. What's so great about this process is that you'll create a drop-down menu that uses the range of functions rather than having to create 11 different formulas. If you already know how to create a drop-down from a range, skip to step 18. To show you this part, we'll create a separate drop-down to mimic the first one. Click into an open cell, here cell F2, in which to place your drop-down menu. With the cell selected, click Insert. Click Drop-down. Click Drop-down. Click Drop-down, from a range. We could type in the cell range from which we're referencing the functions, which in this example is G2 to G12, or click Select Data Range. To auto-populate the range, with your mouse, select the range that includes the functions. Click OK. Scroll down, and click Done. Click Close. That's how you create the dropdown. I'll delete that dropdown for the rest of this tutorial since it was just to show how the first dropdown was created. Click into the dropdown, and select one of the functions. In this example, let's click Average. To make the answer in E3, look up the function, G, and code, H, and apply them to the data, B, based on the function chosen in E2. Copy this formula and use Ctrl+V to paste it into cell E3. Equals, subtotal, left parenthesis, X lookup, left parenthesis, E2, comma, G2, colon, G12, comma, H2, colon, H12, right parenthesis, comma, B2, colon, B, right parenthesis. The data aggregation for the average appears in cell E3. Click the drop-down to select a different function. Click Count. The data aggregation for the count appears in cell E3. Click the drop-down to select a different function. Click Max. The data aggregation for max appears in cell E3. Click the drop-down to select a different function. Click Min. The data aggregation for min appears in cell E3. Click the drop-down to select a different function. Click Sum. The data aggregation for the sum appears in cell E3. One drop-down instead of 11 formulas. Pretty great, right? You could be finished, but if you're sharing this sheet with others, you might want to hide the reference cells. Click columns G and H. One option to hide the reference cells is to make their text invisible by making the font white instead of black. With the columns selected, click Text Color. Click White. Even though the font is white, the columns are still vulnerable. To protect those cells from being edited by others who have access to this sheet, click to select columns G and H. Right-click in the selected cells. With your mouse, hover over View More Column Actions. Scroll down, and click Protect Range. Type to enter a description. Click Set Permissions. Click to select Range Editing Permissions. Click Done. Click Close. Not only is your reference range now invisible and protected, you've created a way to use one formula instead of 11 to aggregate your data. Thanks again to Ben Collins for his inspiration for this tutorial. That's it. You're done.